Warning, if the video, title, and description went over your head, let me be really clear on what you're about to watch. This is a backyard hunting video, which helps keep the population of pests under control. The bonus, some of these guys actually taste pretty dang good. If hunting and pest control offend you, don't watch. It's simple. So with that behind us, let's get on with the video. EDgun Leshiy presents Squirrel Hunting with Tracers. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you for the support. The channel is under constant attack from miserable people whom report my videos in an attempt to try and control the type of content that you get to see on YouTube. The good news, you all jumped in and helped me fight back by subscribing, liking, and dropping some comments. My only weapon against these losers is you guys, so I appreciate that support. It takes just a few seconds to hit the subscribe button, drop a comment, or hit the like button. But every time you do so, it's a swift kick to the snowflakes and motivation for me to continue dropping some bangers to entertain you all. If you want to go all out after watching this video, check out the best of EDgun Leshiy playlist and just let her rip. Every watch minute melts a snowflake. True story. So thanks again, guys, and let's get back to it. I'm going to show you how I make the tracer pellets here in just a second, but first, let's jump right into some footage. For these first two, I have the Dirty 30 out using the white paint. So it's a 50 grain JSB going, I think I had this tuned way down at about 560 or so, if I remember. I actually just let the Dirty 30 move on, which was a Leshiy Classic with a 30 barrel in it. I kept the 30 barrel, but I let it move on to a new home. Somebody really wanted that tan colored Leshiy Classic, and I don't blame them. And I'm fortunate enough to have quite a few of them, so I let it go. But anyways, I let it go because I'm gonna make room for a Leshiy 2 chambered in 30 cal. I cannot wait to show you guys this thing. Some companies are making some stuff for the Leshiy 2, and this thing is gonna be bonkers. I've been painting pellets for a couple years now. I've been experimented with different paints and ways of applying it. It's always been pretty labor intensive, to be honest with you. I have this piece of like a 4x4 basically that I've drilled out with different holes to accommodate the different calibers. So I use it just to rest them in there, and then I'll carefully drop a little paint. If I'm using, for white, I was using a little nail polish or a paintbrush with a different paint, whatever it is. So while this method worked, it certainly has its limitations. One being it's pretty labor intensive, and two, it was hard to make them consistent. So the guys over at 68 Whiskey and Steve from Airgun Evolution YouTube channels started painting pellets a little while back, and then quickly came up with a really cool 3D printed product that makes doing this so much easier. And you get to use spray paint versus a brush. They sent a few to me, and wow, these are so much quicker and consistent. So here's what you get. It's a 3-piece system that is caliber specific. So you simply drop the pellet skirt first, It holds, what is it, 11 by 11, so 121 of them. The second piece just fits right into those holes. It's like the male component of it, and it just holds the pellets right in place. You flip it over, and boom, they're all perfectly aligned and ready to be spray painted. You then actually take this third piece, which is a paint shield, and you align it just right over the top. This protects the main body from getting a big buildup of paint over time. And there's a few ways that you could secure it. I just aligned the holes, and then I dropped a bunch of little 5mm bolts. I think it's 5. It's either 5 or 4, but whatever. You can figure it out. And that held it in place perfectly. The biggest advantage this system provides is the ability to use spray paint. It's not only a lot faster, but for some reason it's a lot easier to find the fluorescent colors in spray format. My two favorites are the little one on the left called this Glow Orange from Krylon and a High Gloss White. The process is pretty simple. You start with a thin layer of a primer. Sometimes I'll do 2, even 3 super thin layers. Then once you let that completely dry, you do 1 to 2 layers of the color of your choice. My only exception to this is when I'm doing white, like when I want it to be white total. Rust-Oleum has a great high gloss primer and white combo, so I don't do the primer before. The final layer is a thin high gloss clear coat. So this is super important because it'll help grab the reflection off the sun. And it also, I found, kind of seals everything nicely in there, so you're not going to get paint in your barrel or anything like that. So I know some guys will do more paint, less layers, but I found this to be the most consistent method for me. So the net result, 121 perfect tracer pellets. These guys don't have a website yet, but I'll drop their email in the description, and this is how you can order them if you guys are interested in getting your own. All right, let's get back to some pew-pew. One benefit with painting the pellets is the ability to review how stable the pellet's flying. So as you can see on this one, it's perfect. I'm going to really slow this one down so that you can see how well this thing actually flies. In a hunting and pest control situation, knowing this information is important, as the goal is a quick and ethical dispatch, and it does not get any more humane than this. So I have 2 primary places where I set up on the current table for one. The lower location in the ping pong room keeps me totally concealed. It's basically the perfect little critter blind. I'll get an alert from the cameras or anything that's around the house, and then I'll see where it is, and I'll walk down to one of the 2 spots. Primarily right now, I just shoot out of this room. Here's a good example of why I like to use tracer pellets. This one was a little bit high. I was able to clearly see that and rip off a few into a target to make sure I didn't bump the scope, or in this case, a reminder to clean the barrel, which I'm terrible at reminding myself to do it. If you're a fan of hunting scope cam footage, tracer pellets clearly enhance the footage as well, especially when everything aligns like this one. I have a ton of footage still from earlier in the fall, and as the seasons shift, I typically change from using white to a bright fluorescent color. The orange one I showed you earlier is my go-to, but it's really about contrast. So definitely try a few different colors and figure out what works best for your style of shooting. For me, this changes based on season and weather. Obviously, if it's dumping snow in the winter, white probably isn't the best choice. I got the US Optics TS20 set up with my new Sony RX100 Mark VII camera. This thing's unreal. It films in ultra slow motion, so this one's about 490 frames per second. It requires a ton of light, so I won't have it out every time, but check out how smooth this is. I was setting up a scope cam for my buddy Python Cowboy. If you don't follow him, go check out his YouTube channel and as well on Instagram. The dude's unreal. What he does, he makes me feel like such a pussy when I watch his shit. But anyways, he works with Bushnell, so they sent over an extra one for me to play around with as well, an extra scope. And so this is the Bushnell Engage 2.5 by 10x. And for a budget scope, I was blown away at the clarity of this footage. I'm getting the cart before the horse a little bit on this footage as I'm showing you some of the first shots from the Table for One 3.0. I'll get a video out soon giving it a proper introduction. So we're going to end this week's video with this shot. I get a ton of comments from you guys about not taking squirrels with shots of the vitals. I don't know, whatever. It's your preference, not mine. I prefer a headshot. But here's one for you guys. It's a little back, but this thing did make it 10 feet. Thanks for watching the EDgun Leshiy channel. Want more backyard hunting videos? Grab your favorite beverage and get yourself caught up. There's hundreds just like the one you just watched. Here's a couple favorites to get you started.